Hello. Hi, Ellen. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you.
Well,
Thanks for rescheduling.
I'm glad we had a
Yeah.
chance to reschedule because the systems, I think it's more system than people that have caused it because I actually have you scheduled again at 3:15 because of the
Yeah. Yeah.
time zones, and I was afraid to cancel that one, and then you would receive a notification about this one. Um,
Yeah. No, this totally works because I think we had something scheduled a week or two ago, and I was traveling and totally lost track and was double booked. So thank you for moving it. So
Oh,
yeah,
my
glad to
my
connect.
pleasure. I have to admit I'm really curious about talking to you. Uh there and I want to thank you for showing up because I'm still amazed that you filled out the form. Like I know for me
Yeah.
if I get five little fields, I'm like screw it and I'm gone. So I really thank you for filling out the form. And I've been curious to talk to you because I'm thinking back now, probably maybe over, I would say maybe 55 years ago. Kodiak came out with men, there, well, I can't say men's, anyway, we called them shit kickers back then. But Kodiak
Hmm.
was around 55 years ago, and I now see that you've reinvented it. And I'm so curious about the story. And I feel connected because I spent a lot of time in Milwaukee.
Hmm.
We used to be a key supplier to women's stretch denim to Harley Davidson. So I was there quite
Awesome.
often. So
Hmm.
like I said, there's been a few little coincidental things going on that I was very curious to talk to you. So
Yeah. Harley Davidson is a cool company. We collaborated with a few women who are engineers at Harley and love to wear boots, and somehow happened organically that female writers started buying our boots. They're not our target audience, and that was really cool to see that motorcycle riders started purchasing Xenas. That was, yeah, unexpected.
but it makes perfect sense. As far as I'm concerned, any protection that you're going to get at all. I know we worked on developing private like denim. So when people wiped out that there was we'll call it resistant denim. You see it in jackets, you see it in helmets. So it makes perfect sense that women would be wearing the boot.
Hmm.
Got to protect their feet as well.
Yeah, no,
So,
we're excited, and I'm excited to do another podcast. I haven't done them in a while. I was on maternity leave for 2 months, then traveled again. So it's really nice to do another podcast and share the story of
well,
launching Xena.
for me, this is all I'm all about experimenting, and this is entirely new to me. I've
Hmm.
been doing it just a couple months, but it was an experiment. I think that what I'm enjoying about it more than anything else is meeting people that normally I would never, my paths would never cross. So that's been the most exciting thing. And it's such a diverse crowd that
Hmm.
I'm really happy to see it. So the first question that I have for you is when I see the word Maverick, and it's, if you look at a LinkedIn profile and you see they are innovators or they're Mavericks, it's always a relatively self-congratulatory phrase or word. And so I'm just curious about your opinion of the word maverick and why do you feel that you are one?
Um, I think you just brought up Harley Davidson. They're definitely a maverick brand. I think they're the definition of a maverick kind of. under the Rebel brand, there are multiple different archetypes, and Harley Davidson is definitely a Maverick. I think I'm Maverick adjacent. We are a rebel, and I'm personally a rebel, but we're a rebel with a purpose. So what we want to do at Xena, by designing and manufacturing the most stylish safety footwear for women in STEM and the trades, is to help change perceptions, help women be themselves at work, instead of having to dress like the guys, and trying to fit in. We want to inspire them to stay feminine, be safe, and focus on the job. So, in that sense, we are Mavericks, and many of our customers are as well.
Okay, great. I'm curious about your history, and I don't just mean the now at Xena. I mean, from a woman of, call it 16, let's find that as an age bracket. Where were you at 16, and what was your progress from then until now? What was the path that you followed to get to where you are?
Yeah, at 16, it was a really exciting time, where you start to think about which path you want to take in life. And I don't want to spend too much time on my childhood, but I grew up in Kazakhstan, and it's a beautiful country, beautiful landscape. But I grew up in an environment where women did not have the same opportunities as men. So
Mhm.
that was a part of shaping me and who I wanted to become. So because I saw so many women, um, not being able to do a lot of the jobs that they wanted to do and follow careers they wanted to follow, I wanted to find a job that would allow me to be financially independent and allow me to have a positive impact in the world. And I saw that path through engineering, applied for many different engineering schools, and picked one that seemed to be the perfect fit for me. It's called International Project Engineering. It combines different engineering subjects, has a huge focus on project management, languages. I always loved languages, so it was the perfect combination for me. And that was, yeah, after I finished school, that was the path that I decided to take. Um, got got my degree, and basically during my program, we all had to go abroad because it's called International Project Engineering. They
Mhm.
said you guys are not allowed to stay in Germany, go to Austria or Switzerland. You have to leave the German speaking countries. So I applied in South America and Asia because I was looking for something very exotic, and the best offer came from a small town called Waukesha, Wisconsin, in the US. I had to look it up on the map, and the position sounded so interesting, working for a German steel cutting tool manufacturing company, that I decided to come to the US. Did my internship, um, met my husband during that time. We traveled a lot back and forth until I finished my degree, and then afterwards we had to make a decision where we would move together. And he speaks three languages, but German is unfortunately not one of them. So I decided to come here. And honestly, I love the American culture, love the opportunities, the positivity of people, overall optimism. So yeah, loved living in Milwaukee. And just 2 years ago, we relocated to Southeast Michigan, where the majority of our team is located, and my
Mhm.
husband's family. So
And so you studied engineering. How did you, and I don't want to call it pivot, but how did you move from engineering into apparel? Like where did that shift happen?
yeah, so I when I moved to the US, I got my dream job working for a huge manufacturing company. I was a consultant that worked I worked for a consulting company that worked with many different manufacturing clients, and um, I truly loved my job. I was responsible for massive multi-million dollar projects. I often was in charge of leading the project planning sessions and project control, and it was a lot of fun working in on manufacturing projects, and we had multiple construction projects happening as well. And while I loved my job in this area, I absolutely hated the clunky work boots I had to wear. It was I was required to dress professionally in meetings, and then as soon as the meetings wrapped up, we're asked when you go out on the shop floor, you have to wear your safety glasses, depending on the job site, a hard hat, your work boots, and I had multiple pairs under my desk and hated all of them. They were uncomfortable, clunky, and they felt like a safety hazard more than protecting me. So then I had so many friends and coworkers, female coworkers, who hated their safety footwear. And I did more research and found out that traditional companies apply the shrink it and pink it concept, where they take a men's product, make it a little bit smaller, make it pink or purple. And that's not what professional women want to wear. And
Hmm.
I thought that I could design a better product that women would be excited to wear. There, I love following different brands, and I wanted to create something women very much disliked and create something that they would be excited to wear, because it's already difficult enough for women to fit into a more male-centric work environment, and having poorly fitting PPE is just an unnecessary barrier, because it also impacts huge impact on safety. You need something that fits well, whether we're talking about safety shoes, safety vest, hard hats. We just happen to be really good at safety footwear.
And it's interesting because I opened up your LinkedIn page. I always like to do a little bit of research before. And right below the pane that we're talking, I see these really, really beautiful black short boots. They're
Mhm.
you would never know that they're work boots. I mean,
Yeah,
they're beautiful. They are real.
thank
They're
you.
extremely attractive, and you would never know that
Thank you.
they're.
I just grabbed my dirty pair of our gravity boots that I wear all the time. They that was the first product we launched with. It came out in two colors. I wanted to see if there was a real product market fit, because in
Mhm.
the beginning you will have many people who will encourage you and say, "Yeah, sure, this is a great idea." We had an equal amount of people who said, "This is the dumbest idea." You will not know if your idea is successful until somebody is willing to pay, swipe their credit card and buy your product.
Yeah.
So after launching this gravity boot in two colors, we started getting orders from women all over the country. So this one is designed as a walk-through boot for manufacturing. It has a protective steel toe cap, a slip-resisting rubber outsole, and the heel height is based on Canadian CSA standards, because the US did not have any limitations. All of our products have to go through rigorous testing. I know they look beautiful, and
Mm.
women are always asked, like, "Hey, did you know you have to wear safety shoes?" And they show a little card that shows the different certifications all of our products have. So
It's interesting
yeah.
you say that because I'm from Montreal. I'm a Canadian, and
Hmm.
it's funny that you talk about the safety standards of Canada versus that of the US, and I think it applies. As you mentioned in your shoes, I know it applies to food. There are just different there's different standards between the two countries. So it's
Hmm.
interesting
Yeah.
that you don't have it in the States. So why don't you tell me a little bit about Xena itself as a company?
Yeah, Tina, our goal is to basically we design and manufacture stylish safety footwear for women in STEM and the trades. I try to design products that I would want to wear and I need, and really hope that somebody else will buy them. I have more experience in the manufacturing space, and we try to learn as much as possible from women working in trades professions and more hands-on construction, and expand our product line accordingly. Uh, but yeah, that has been our biggest goal. We have dabbled in apparel. There's a huge gap. If we had enough funding and bandwidth, we would tackle everything at once. But right now, we're really focused on footwear, because that's the biggest gap that we identified in the market. We have designed functional blazers in the past. For example, I'm wearing a regular blazer right now, and when you're out in a manufacturing facility, you're not you have to bring so many things with you. You typically have your little notebook, maybe a measuring tape. You have your PPE that you have to to bring sometimes your laptop, um, your phone. Like there are million small things that you should be carrying
Mhm.
around, and you don't bring your purse or backpack with you all the time. So, and women's clothing in general does not tend to have pockets. It looks beautiful, but
I
all
know
of European pockets
my
are
wife
fake.
is always asking me to carry all of her stuff, so I get
Exactly.
that.
So yeah, we typically have those fake pant and fake blazer pockets. So I designed blazers that have real pockets for all the small PPE items you need, and pens and notebooks, and are machine washable, because sometimes you're in a beautiful office space and then the next minute you're in a dirty, dusty weld shop. So we dabbled in apparel. That was fun, and then decided to go back to deliver more on the safety footwear side, because there's
Mhm.
still so many different safety certifications that we didn't hit, or certain styles that we're still missing for women working in that space. So that's what we'll stay focused on in the near future.
It's always good. It's we, I've always been told be a king of something. So
Mm,
I can understand that.
yeah.
Um, I'm I'm a process guy by nature. It started in
Hmm.
manufacturing and it's now in my technological world. Can you explain to me we'll call it the development through production cycle, how you do it, where goods are made, what tools, what applications, tools you're using to both develop and produce your shoes?
Um, I'm not our operations lead, but I will try to answer this question as good as I can.
Hmm.
Um, so when in terms of design, I create the initial sketches of what I would want to see. I typically look for different images online, try to figure
Hmm.
out what is needed, listen to our customers' needs, or are doing an amazing job to share with us what they want and what they would love to see. And within the parameters, the ASTM testing that the shoes would have to go through, I have a certain boundaries I'm working within. So I create the initial sketches, but then I hire a professional designer who helps us create a tech pack that has detailed measurements for the outsoles, the upper, all the components that go in
Hmm.
into it, and list the safety features. And then we hand it over to our manufacturing facility. We have an amazing manufacturing partner in Mexico, um, who help us to go through multiple rounds of prototypes, and then we go through, once we're happy with the fit, we have to send multiple products in for testing, ASTM testing at an independent lab, in our case in the US. And
Hmm.
then once that's approved, we place the PO, get the products shipped to our warehouse in Milwaukee, and then from there, it gets shipped out across the country. Like we use Shopify for our online store.
Only, yeah,
Um, and Dimitri is the one who does an amazing job on our operations side, and has
yeah.
all make sure that the products get to our warehouse and then to our customers on time.
I'd love to understand the process a little bit further, but today is not about me. And so maybe we can set something up with Dimitri or talk later. I try to be careful of time because I've noticed that metrics tell me that at around half an hour, people get really tired of listening to a podcast. So I'll call it one more question, and then it's sort of a roundup. If
Hmm.
you were to be sitting at a bar, and I'm going to say it only, I don't know if you drink or not, but if you're sitting at a bar and and you hear this proverbial question a lot, if you could say to if you can tell something to your 16-year-old self. My my question is, if you're sitting at a bar and some man or woman sort of just looks over at you and and you look like you're successful and you're confident in who you are as a person, and they just turn and they say, I'm having a little problem in finding my path, finding my passion. You talked about yours, but if someone was to turn to you and ask you that question, what advice would you give them?
Oh, that's a great question. There are two different approaches to find out what your true passion in life is, and many people think about what brings them joy or what excites them. That's one path. The one that I like more and I personally apply in my own life is think about all the potential issues that really frustrate you in the world and pick one that you're most passionate about and take action because um I think we're unhappy if we feel that we're out of control and we can't have an impact on a certain issue or in our life. And if you decide to even make a small improvement in an area that you're truly passionate about, it gives you so much fulfillment and purpose in life. So I would encourage everyone, myself, and other young women, men and women, to find
Uh,
something that you're truly passionate about and have the confidence that you do have an impact in the world, especially living in a country like the US. Um, you have so many opportunities to make a difference.
I really I like that approach to it because I think that the youth of today, or I shouldn't even say the youth of today, I'll talk about me. You know, when I was much younger, you have to make a decision, critical decisions sometimes, so early on in your life. And the reasoning that you do it, like when I was young, and when you're 18, I thought I could solve world hunger. So like, you're so
Mhm,
full of
mhm.
yourself at that age.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, you know, but back then it was like, oh, I want to be a doctor.
Mhm,
And so I went through, the education, went through pre-med, got sort of booted out of pre-med because I was, a child of the Woodstock generation. There were other things that were of interest to me at the time,
mhm,
but it's so difficult when you're young to really know what you want to be. So by taking the approach that you're talking about solving a problem, picking one and trying to
mhm.
solve that one, it removes so many of the blinders that you have on in your life because it's such a simple philosophy. You
Yeah.
know, so I have one last, and this is a request,
Mhm,
if you don't mind, and I give you two options on this. What I always do is I like to post a very short, 30 second to a minute, a little snippet on LinkedIn introducing you, your company, and encouraging them to listen to the podcast. But it's giving exposure to you, it's giving exposure to me. And I always like to put it there. I like to put, your words in there, and I like to do a little video. I do offer, because some people don't like to be put on the spot in this
mhm,
one, so they like to think about it. So I always offer them the option of we can do it at another time, or we can do it now. And it's typically not the elevator pitch per se, because
mhm.
like we're all trained on elevator pitch. So if you
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
okay, well, tell me about that, it's like and I have one woman that did, she came across like so dry because that elevator pitch was so rehearsed that when I watched it, like the engagement was low. And on top of it, I looked at that and I said, I wouldn't want to watch any more of this. So like I said, I'd love to, if it's okay, and I would send it to you for approval before we post that LinkedIn post or the podcast. I get your approval. So I'd
Mhm.
love to get that little snippet out of you, whether we do that now or at another date. But you seem quite eloquent, and I have confidence in you that you have something up your
Let's
sleeve.
give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. So, is it a snippet? So what I've seen in the past is somebody takes, instead of doing the initial elevator pitch, like, hey, this is so and so, and this is what I do, um, taking a snippet of of the conversation and sharing it like before a podcast. That's something we can either cut out of the existing one, or what have others done in the past? Or I can
I
try to wing
I've
it and you
I've
can
done
cut it.
it. The thing about cutting it, and I can and I do, but some like it that becomes almost my choice, so to speak. So I watch
Yeah.
it, and I have an idea already where I kind of think that it would come from, but I like to. I'm a believer in putting you in control of the message because it could be like I said, it can be anything you like, whether it's inspiration to people, inspiration to women. It's just it's a free form
Hmm.
message that you want to share with the world, that they're going to look at that and they're going to say, wow, I really want to know more. And you know that that's not an elevator pitch. It's basically, it's
Hmm.
from your heart, it's something genuine. And if you were a viewer and you clicked on that link and you saw that video, you would go, I really want to see more. So I like to
Hmm.
try to put you in control. And that's why I offer the option of, we can do it now and we can give it a
Hmm.
shot. We can give it two shots.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. I can edit it any way you want, but
Okay.
I try to make it as spontaneous and casual. Well, as you can tell, I'm not a very formal person. Uh, so I try to keep it as casual as possible. So we can always give it a shot. If you like it, great. If not, we
Mhm.
can look at it from another angle.
Yeah, let's give it a shot. Give me I have a few ideas already running through my head. Let me just pick one. Um,
You don't have to use one. You can have two.
okay.
You can do whatever. This is your show. You can do what you like.
Awesome. Let's see. No. Um, I think it is incredibly rewarding to be able to start a company because it allows me to have a positive impact in so many different ways. I get to help women feel more confident at work by providing safety shoes that help women feel safe and confident. I get to work with amazing people, and I would really love for all of our team members to grow in the process, learn as much as possible, apply their ideas. We're such a small team that allows for a lot of creativity. Um, and I want to inspire the next generation of girls to be able to explore STEM-ed trades as really well paid and incredibly exciting professions. I think if I can hit all of those goals, that just makes my life so happy. And I'm so grateful to be able to live in the US and be able to start such an amazing company like Xena Workwear that provides so much purpose and value to my life.
You see, that was perfect. That like that's to me that's perfect because it talks about who you are, what your values are. So I thank you for that because I know that it's hard. That's probably the hardest part about it, is to get that casual piece that's going to be encouraging enough to watch. I'm very impressed. I did that with one woman that's retiring shortly, and I had her in tears. It was beautiful. It was like so moving
Hmm.
because it's real. And that's what we're trying to get out of here, because the majority of people are going to see just that little piece.
Hmm.
Most people, I don't, like, I'm not a podcast guy. I don't listen to podcasts, but I do know that if I watched that 1 minute snippet that you just ran, that would intrigue me to learn more about your company. I really thank you because that was
Of
excellently
course.
done.
Thank you, thank you. It's yeah, I know what if you I typically do. I remember pitching for an investment, and you have the same pitch over and over again. It's like a 5-minute pitch, and you have to keep it short so it sounds very rehearsed. So it's nice to have open questions that are sometimes unexpected. Is helping me to think about what I really want to say instead of remembering previous answers.
Mm.
That's good.
Yeah, because you
Thank you
sit
for the
there and
opportunity.
I know it because I remember when I had to do my elevator and I'm terrible at it. I'm sorry about that. I'm really terrible about that with elevator pitches and things of that nature. I remember one time on stage, I froze. Like it I'm really not good at it.
Oh my goodness. If you would see my first pitch, it was terrible. I had multiple practice rounds before and started panicking because somebody rewrote my speech, and English is not my first language, so they tried to build in all of these fancy words that I've never used in the past. And when you're trying to remember a word, you're not sounding authentic. So yeah, we've come a long way since then. I think just trying to be your authentic self is the best
Anna,
solution, whether
I
at
thank
work
you.
and podcasting.
I really thank you. Like I said, I'd love to continue this at a later date. I really am sure there's so much more that to
Hmm.
talk about.
Yeah.
What I will do is
Yeah.
I will follow up. I'll clip out that snippet. I'll do now. I'm going to follow up with an email. In the email, if possible, I would love a high quality image of your
Mhm.
logo. I would, if possible, like a little written blurb that will be the highlight of the introduction to the video. And I'll just send you a link about what we do, because when you talk about process, I spent, as I say, 25 years manufacturing and another 14 in technology in the manufacturing space. So we have some interesting things that we can talk about. So I will get that email out
Yeah.
to you. Um, I'm going to search online just to get a rough image, just to be able to at least use it in the introductory of this snippet. And then when you receive that, you can sort of give me the high quality image and that little blurb I'm looking for,
Hmm.
and then let me know what you think, and we can talk later.
Awesome. Sounds perfect. Thank you, Alan.
And I'm
It's a
so
pleasure to speak
happy.
with you.
Yeah, I'm so happy you made it. I mean, this was one that I've been looking forward to. I've met some interesting people, um, and I really love people that are on a mission to change something.
Yeah, yeah. I think have to make life worth living. I've spent enough time in a cubicle where I get often paid for doing nothing after a project, and it was torture. I would rather have an insane work schedule and know that our effort makes a small difference.
Exactly. We live by the motto, make a difference.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Awesome.
Uh,
Thank you so much,
Anna,
Alan. It was
thank you
a pleasure
again. It
to
was
meet you.
great seeing you. Okay, take care. Okay.
Great seeing you. Bye.
Bye.
Talk soon. Bye.